So printmaking paper comes in a lot of ranges. You have your Japanese papers, and then you have your Western style papers. You have washi on one side, and then you have Ribes BFK on the other side of the spectrum. Both printmaking papers are great. They give great texture and they give great results depending on what technique you're working on. And then you have those papers that don't always fit into one or other category. And that is where my friends at MULBERRY Paper and More come in. A couple days ago, they sent me a message asking me if I wanted to try some of their unique papers. They carry specialty papers. Anything from doing origami, for printmaking, or just any kind of specialty paper that you're thinking of. And there was two that really stood out to me. And those were their Amate bark paper and their Huun paper. So these are both papers produced in New Mexico, so I definitely wanted to give them a shot because I have a perfect print to test them. So we're gonna put these papers to the test. We're gonna print on them, we're gonna write on them, we're gonna erase them. We're just gonna see how durable they are and just how beautiful they are and how they can create prints. So if you're excited, let's open this box. Here's the sheets of paper. And honestly, I'm so excited to open it. Let's go. So there's a very interesting story behind these papers that MULBERRY and Paper carries. The Huun artisan paper came in response of Mark Callahan's quest for renewable regional resources to create a strong, high-quality paper. So this handcrafted paper came through experiments and just using a combination of Japanese washi techniques and the Mayan techniques to create these specific types. And it resulted in this, something that fused both contemporary elements and traditional elements. Mark's vision was in creating a paper that was sort of going to revive the lost art of Mayan paper making while still protecting the environment. So these papers, right here I have these three sheets and I have them labeled. These three sheets right here, and the pumpkin, the pinto, and the sunflower, these are Huun paper. So Huun paper, when you look at them side by side to the Amate paper, they look and texture very similarly, however they're different. So this paper over here, the Amate paper, is made from the plant fibers of the Amate bark. And they do a combination of other plants in there, like for example, mulberry. This one over here, the Huun paper, Huun is actually the Mayan word for paper, and Amate is the Nahuatl word for tree. So Huun paper is made from plant fiber, and it is way more flexible than the other one. This is the one made from the bark tree. It's not as flexible. According to MULBERRY, these papers are around 150 grams per square meter. So this is a heavyweight paper, definitely, when you compare it to other papers out there. For example, like the washi paper. This particular paper, Huun paper, is created from the lengua de vaca plant. I believe the scientific name is the Sansevieria plant. And Mayan artisans throughout the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico create this paper. So we're going to actually I want to utilize this one first. I thought it would be really appropriate to do something related to the origins of these papers. I have some designs of Aztec gods. I have Mictlantecutli right here, and then I have Quetzalcoatl on the other one. So I'm going to size some 5x7 sheets so that I can test print on this sheet of paper. So I already cutted my big sheet of Huun Pinto color natural paper, and I have these 5x7 sheets, which is just exactly what I want. But then I also got all this extra, and all this extra shavings that are not exactly the size that I want. This is what I'm going to be experimenting right now. So the first thing I want to do is see how this would take, for example, a pencil. So we're just gonna write here. Okay, so when you write on this paper, as you can expect, because the texture is, there is texture there, it's not a smooth writing. So definitely not a writing. Still, you could feel the texture on this, which is, once again, not an issue if you were writing, not necessarily a writing paper at all. Let's see how well it would erase. And as expected, because it's a natural paper and it's very textured, you are picking up a little bit of this paper fibers that are coming up. So that is something to definitely keep in mind, but it did do a good job at erasing the graphite from here. So that's actually not too bad. Next thing I have here is just some regular Indian ink, and I just want to see how it would handle the ink if I just drop some. So I just dropped a drop. Gonna wait for that to dry. I want to see if it bleeds all the way to the bottom. So we have some bleeding there. Not too bad, but it looks like it's absorbing that. So you can apply ink. You could potentially paint on this. Might be something you could utilize for watercolor. So the possibilities are there. It just feels like such a great paper, though. It's like it's really thick, which I like. I like a stiff paper. And I like how textured it is. I just can't get over that. One of the things that I did notice was when I was ripping these sheets is that they're not necessarily the cleanest edges because of the texture that it has. So if you do decide to tear your paper, if you're doing like a print or something, do know that you're gonna have a little bit more textured tear edge if you do that. However, you can come in with an X-Acto knife and it gives you a really clean edge. So here I have my blocks. I have these 2 blocks already carved and I want to test, and then I'm going to be utilizing some Cranfield Calico Safe Wash ink to test them out because I just want to be able to clean nice and crisp right afterwards. So I think that should be more than enough for my 6 sheets of paper. And I'm just using a regular soft rubber brayer from Speedball. Just bringing this down. Let's work this ink a little bit. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ink my Quetzalcoatl right here. Give it a nice go. And let's place our block. Let's go down. Since this is the rubber type of block, I don't want to put the block down and then put the sheet of paper on top. When I work with these, I just tend to press down. Okay. And wow, okay. That gives it a nice look, actually. I really like how the texture is playing with it. And I think there's something going on here. I see all these little spots of white, and it looks, they have the texture, this texture of this fiber down here. So you can actually see some of those shapes in there. But I like the really ancient quality that it gives it. Like it kind of makes it seem like this is something that's been around for a while, like this specific print, and I really like that quality. And it looks like it took the ink pretty well. There's no bleeding. So let's print out Mictantecutli, which is on lino. Let's give it a nice inking. Then we're going to bring in our sheet. Pressing down. Then I'm going to put another sheet right on top just because I know how delicate that paper is and the texture of it, and I don't want to mess the paper up. It looks like we got a way better impression, so I'm going to go back, get the little areas where ink didn't quite transfer. So still have some areas where I'm struggling with the texture. So what I'm going to do at this point is bring my spoon. The way I'm applying a little bit more pressure, targeted pressure in specific area. And it's getting slightly better, so now I need to go up here. Okay, let's pull this over and, well, look at that. So here I have all the papers already cut out to the sizes I'm going to be needing for the rest. And printing out some of these Mictlantecuhtli and some Quetzalcoatl prints. So here I have all 6 of the papers that I got. Each paper has a unique quality for sure, but getting the right consistency of ink to paper can be a bit of a challenge. Depending on the texture, it seems like some of them are easier and harder than others. I particularly had a challenging time with the Pinto color paper at first. I really was having an issue with these textures right here of the pulp. That we're kind of misaligning, or we're not really absorbing the ink as much. The easiest one to print was definitely this one, the cream amate. It was really easy to print. I could see the image from the back, so that was like almost a no-brainer. It was pretty easy. This one, the Amate one, was also relatively easy to print. Like the image just went on there right away. So this was pretty cool, the fact that I was able to get the image imprinted, and the fact that it's almost a craft color, it just really stands out and pops out. So will I be using these papers in the long run from Mulberry Paper and More? Yeah, I actually did really like working with these. I have all this set right here of both Amate and Huun papers. I think that it is very unique when you get a chance to work with a material that not only links together the subject matter, in this case it was the images of the Aztec gods, but also you can tie it down to where the material was made, and the fact that this is a handmade material by indigenous communities in Mexico, I think that is just wonderful that you can tie all that together. Overall, it was definitely a good quality paper. It's sturdy, it holds up the ink very, very well. You do have to fine-tune your practice. So I tried first with a tortilla press, and then I tried with a spoon, then I tried with a Japanese baron, and finally with a regular plastic baron. So you definitely have to fine-tune depending on what kind of consistency you want to get on your ink and on the paper. But definitely, if you want to try something unique and different that isn't just a regular set of papers that you're used to getting from the art store, I think that Mulberry Paper and More has a great selection on their website for unique papers like these, natural papers. But if you're also looking for regular papers, you can also check out their website, and the description is going to be right at the bottom, the link to their website, and you can see that they have a wide range of traditional papers, washi paper, Japanese papers, so definitely go ahead and check them out. And if you go check them out, make sure you use the link at the bottom. There is a discount code that's going to be right at the bottom in the description so that they know I sent them over. Once again, thank you so much for Mulberry Paper and More for making this video happen. And if you like this content and if you enjoyed the video, why not go ahead, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, drop a comment at the bottom. If you don't agree with anything of what I said, just be nice. Or not. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and right now I'm just gonna get back to working with this wonderful paper and finish this series. See you around.